feel, take it slow. I wanna be in the light before it fades from your eyes. Just another conflicted placement. I'm stuck in a place I'm hating. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do when I'm stuck inside you? This set of ice and fire, what blood red death, lost in desire, smell of life.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Live and direct. Whole Damn Enchilada Podcast. Rick Paulton, Ryan Inman, and our special guest down below. We got Christian Caloway from the Shudder exclusive Destroy All Neighbors film, which if you guys have not seen that film, you definitely need to, because it is freaking amazing. How you doing this evening, Christian?
I am doing wonderful. And I wanted to introduce you to Sticky. You may not have noticed him so much in that film, but he's been in every step of that, along with 56 other films.
I just was about to say, I seen that in Water Dog, yes? Yes?
You saw Water Dog. Yes, you saw Sticky in Water Dog also.
I seen it about 5 minutes ago. I just finished it up. That's why I looked over. I got my TV over there. It's still on the screen. I seen that. You know what I liked? I seen a short film you did for a Toronto Film Festival. Let me get my notes here. I got notes. It was called Swift Fist. Dude, that was fun.
That was such a silly little thing. It introduced myself to a new group of actors here in Albuquerque. Mm-hmm. And they just all of a sudden grabbed me and said, we want you in this film. And it was a lot of fun to go do that and to give back to this New Mexico community of actors, trying to help push those guys along a little bit, you know? Yeah.
It was a real cool thing. Like, cause I work like 8 days a week and 25 hours a day. So I've seen the film we're going to talk about tonight. I've seen that like 3 or 4 times, but I haven't seen too many other films that you were in. So as I was like cramming to get ready, I was like, well, I got the YouTube one. I'll check out a couple of these short films. And I really liked that. I thought that was really, really funny. Let's see. We got a couple people in the house. We got Karen in the house. Bill. Hey, Bill, just so you know, I sent that T-shirt out today. You should get it by Monday. I meant to send it out Monday or Tuesday, but I didn't have the shirt I wasn't near. If I had the shirt, I wasn't near the post office, but I got it taken care of. Rob Dell, St. John's, Michigan, Jason in the house. Karen, what's up, Karen? How you doing? Bill says, are you from the 505? Whatever the hell that means. Christian.
When I was very young, and then I moved to Los Angeles when I was 18, and I spent 43 years there. Okay. Now the work is picking up for somebody that looks like this, you know? So I moved out here to be able to start getting those type of jobs. Mm-hmm. But the problem with that is those jobs are not really here right now, because there's a lower acting community. They have the smaller, lower level jobs. You wouldn't get a feature film starring role here yet. Mm-hmm. Once Hollywood knows that there's people like me that live and work out of New Mexico, which is absolutely beautiful for Westerns, sci-fi, horror movies and things like that. So once they know I'm out here and I've established myself and other people and kind of drug in all of the dregs of society that is really good at what we do, which is horror films and things like that, I think that, New Mexico will be a hot spot for shooting.
I've heard like even years ago, it was like a pretty good spot. They'd like to shoot a lot of television there because it cost a lot less than shooting in LA.
Yeah.
I remember that TV show In Plain Sight shot there.
Exactly. Stranger Things.
Yeah.
We shot here. All of the, your Better Call Saul type things.
Well, that took place there too.
Lady currently shoots out here.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, it's like the Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul universe takes place there too. It's actual setting. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of both of those things, so. as are millions of others. So.
They made a little bit of money, so they got
just a little bit.
Okay.
I
So
appreciate you guys looking up my shows and whatnot. And it seems like you found more of the lower level stuff, which is fine. Those were all part of my career. I have over 1,000 films that I've done as a background player, and like 90 where I speak as a speaking role. And some of those include, the biggest one is Twin Peaks. Everybody knows Twin Peaks. And I'm a woodsman on the return of Twin Peaks. And then The House with the Clock in Its Walls with also Kyle MacLachlan and Jack Black. I played Azazel, the yellow-eyed demon of death. And that comes all from these Ballars novels, which the copy or the rights to it now are owned by Eli Roth. And he told me, he said, "You're now my Azazel. You'll be in like 5 more movies as they come out in the future," which is cool. And the kind of neat thing is I'm the only representation of Azazel that is the actual demon look, because Azazel's a body snatcher. So never really seen him, even in the Supernatural series. Nobody saw what Azazel looked like because he always was just stealing bodies. But this is what Azazel looks like, just like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie, but I really want to see that movie because I want to see how Eli Roth did a PG movie, how that works out, you know.
Yeah.
And I've been, it's not streaming on anything, so I'm gonna have to break down and buy that one. But yeah, definitely interested in that. You've also, you worked with Robert De Niro on the Meet the Fockers. You some pretty big movies. The Fast and the Furious, like one of the 8,000 of those.
Yeah.
And the strangest thing is, the Fast and the Furious has to be one of the smallest background roles, basically, that I've ever really done, and it has to be the biggest thing I get recognized for out of my whole body of work. People come up on the street and go, "You came out in Fast and Furious." And it's really strange because my scene, I'm in 2 different Fast and Furious, but it's the exact same scene. I think it's the end of number 5 and the beginning of number 6. We're in a bus, and Vin Diesel comes. He's on a prison bus. He comes walking up the aisle, and I'm just sitting there in the seat, and the camera just goes right by my face. And it's really not even 2 seconds long. And I became world freaking famous off of that.
Well, that's your biggest film until people start to see Destroy All Neighbors. I think you're going to get recognized for that a lot more because you had a lot of lines and good lines, and I mean you really did a lot in that film. That movie was really, really good.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It was a lot of fun doing that film, and it filled in a lot of my bucket list items. A lot of the first feature film using my flagship character, which is a homeless man. I've been in other feature films, but I mean a good blockbuster one that has other stars in it, like, Alex Winter, and Jonah Ray, and what is it, John, that Lennon guy. I always forget his name, but yeah, he's in it too. I mean, so it's kind of a star-studded cast all the way around. So featuring that with my homeless character, that's a bucket list item. Getting this little guy put in a feature film with his name in the credits is a bucket list item, and Sticky's in there. Sitcoms. I need to still do a sitcom with this character. I did one in the past called I don't know, it was Barber or something like that. It was with a guy from Cheers, and he played a barber. Might have been Clips or something. I was a homeless man on that, but it wasn't featured enough, So yeah, Destroy All Neighbors is a big leap for me as far as going into the mainstream. Let's be a full-time actor and let's see this guy in everything. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I really dug Augie. Augie was definitely a great character. You also did a movie. I was going to start with some questions, but just because I just brought up your IMDb, The People's Joker. Is that what's the deal with that?
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you a little story.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, well, Sarah Drew is a transgender woman who many, many years ago was making her transition and just trying to make things make sense to herself. And her heroes at the time were the Joker, all the things she'd grown up with her whole life, and it really made an impression on her and how she carried herself. So she became a comedian, a stand-up comedian, and she wanted to pay homage to her heroes. So she thought it'd be neat to do a film about a transgender becoming the Joker. And also poke fun at like Lorne Michaels of Saturday Night Live, and poke fun at other comedians, and poke fun at society, the way they do things, and poke fun.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, Warner Brothers and DC don't like you poking fun at their characters, especially when you never asked if you could use them. And she never asked. She used them based on the fair play.
Mm-hmm.
And she took the film to Toronto. It did wonderful. The crowds went just crazy for it, and Warner Brothers shut it down. DC Comics shut it down, said, no, this film will be banned. It'll never be seen. You did not have permission. You're not representing the characters correctly. Just on and on and on.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It was a fair play thing, and went out there and got more and more attorneys to look at it, more and more people to battle. And she doesn't have anything. She shot all of this on the green screen. So it's not like it was a huge amount of money she's got. But she ended up getting film distribution for it. And then Warner Brothers gave in, and DC gave in, and now she has international film distribution with, gosh, I don't know the name. It Altered something, I think it is. But they're a big one for horror movies and for movies such as this. And I play Dr. Crane, the
Scarecrow. Yep.
It's probably one of the better performances that I've seen myself in, that I've really felt good about, that I had no idea that I did that kind of job on it, because this came out years later when I finally got to see it. And like, oh my God, look at me. I did this. And I actually truly could. As far as like DC goes, if there was to be a Scarecrow character coming back out again, I'm the perfect choice for it. And you'd say the same thing once you see the People's Joker.
So I will be able to see. That was because I seen that Warner Brothers shut it down, and I was about to say, so I'll never see this, but I can see this somehow.
It's having its New York premiere in the next few weeks, I believe, and then it goes to Los Angeles, and then it'll be in select theaters all over the place. I don't know if it's going streaming or if it's going to go.
I'd rather go to the theater and see it anyway. I just didn't think it was even possible to see it at all. Now I'm excited.
Well, it's going to be one of the number one big movies out there that make a splash in the realm of where people really pay attention to movies. Because I don't know if you looked at its Rotten Tomato, it's got 100% on both sides. What movie ever gets 100% on both sides?
Oh, they don't.
And the film's incredible. So, and I think you'll enjoy it. The storyline is wonderful. I'm
a giant comic book guy anyway, and the Joker. I love the Joker. And I love just Batman, the whole Batman universe, and so I was just I was very intrigued by it. And then I seen in the trivia on IMDb, it said Warner Brothers shut it down. I figured it was like a small indie film or like a fan film that I could watch on YouTube or something. But I'm more excited to be able to see it in a theater because I love going to the theater. It's like, I'll go to the theater to watch a movie I've seen like 100 times. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, this interesting thing about this one, it is a fan film. That is what she was doing. She was a fan of herself. And she just wanted to make this queer thing. Most people are fans of their own films, and most of these films go nowhere, And these fan films are fun for the fans. Somehow she surpassed that, and she always said she would. When I would go to shoot, she goes, "This isn't going to be just like any other fan film. You watch what we do with this. You watch." So I'm pretty sure she knew the controversy she was bringing, and I'm pretty sure she knew how much trouble she was about to get into. But it certainly worked. You want to see it, and the thing is, I wouldn't if it sucked. I'd tell you, hey, dude, it had a lot of controversy, but you can't sit through the thing. You can't sit to this one. It is so funny, and it's done so well. And even though it was done on a green screen, you can't really tell because it's a comic book world. So you're mixing it with real live action and the animations.
Yeah, it got good. The couple reviews that were on IMDb were very positive. But so I guess we'll backtrack a little bit. How did you get started in acting? How did that come about for you?
Oh boy, that's a long time ago. But I was 16. My friends was working at a radio station, sweeping up and washing the windows and whatnot. And this was in Idaho at the time. And I thought that'd be cool to work as a janitor at a radio station. And then a country station moved in. And I thought, I'm going to be the first one when they open their doors. I'm going to get the janitor job. So I went in there and asked him if they could hire me for that. And he asked if I had a license. And I said, I'm only 16. I can't get. He said, no, I mean a radio license. And he filled out this FCC form, had me sign that. And he goes, okay, tomorrow you'll go to the ISU mini dome and you're going to be interviewing the different people about their farm implements and their tractors and whatnot. And I kind of freaked out because I'm thinking, I'm supposed to be just sweeping floors. And then now, what is this? I'm a reporter. But before I had turned 17, I ended up being the youngest news director in the country, 50,000 watt radio station, had my own morning show, which really wasn't my own morning show. I would start the show off very nicely, and we're going to listen to country music, and everything's going to be cool and mellow until Terrible Jim and Uncle Tim come walking in, and they just keep wanting to screw up my day for the next 3 hours, and that was the morning show. And that got me a lot of popularity where people were seeing me or wanted to see me in other more live appearances. So I started doing a beauty pageant announcing or stock car racing and things like that. I thought, I want to live by the beach. I want to live in California. So I'm moving to Bakersfield. I never took a look at the map. I never knew where Bakersfield was. And I was stuck in that desert for 5 years. There's no ocean anywhere near there. It's 120 degrees in the summertime. And there I did a lot of stock car, a lot of I was the host for a number of years for Jerry Lewis telethon. So when they would shoot it to Bakersfield, it'd be my face telling them that, here's our next person going to be doing something for the telethon. So that was kind of neat. So as you can see, it was a lot of announcer stuff, a lot of using my voice. I started trying to push for more acting roles, had to get a regular job. I ended up working for NASA, of all things, became an engineer, was with them for 25 years working on the Trident missile. I worked a little bit on the space station, not up there, but just on some of the components, doing X-ray, industrial radiography. That was interesting because what it was such a complicated and complex type of a job. Not a lot of people could do it. And I was extremely good at it, which means I could set my own hours. I didn't have to listen to when the boss wanted me. So it was perfect for an actor. I had the money to support my career, and I had the time to be able to go, oh, there's an audition. I'm sorry, Mr. Missile. You're going to have to wait for your X-ray. I'm going on this audition. And it worked out good. I was able to support my career for that 25 years, little tiny things, And then I did a music video for System of a Down, Serge Tankian.
Oh, right on.
And that music video was called Saving Us. And after that aired online, my girlfriend at the time, Becca, she said, wow, the internet thinks you're actually really a homeless guy. Maybe you want to make that your niche and just become like Hollywood's top homeless portrayer.
See, Rick, I told you there was something.
Trust her. I wanted somebody else to take the ball around. So she took over. We went out there and started just doing some strange things to get attention drawn to me, such as like I had maybe a 3/4 inch long big toenail that was green and encrusted. I would include that in my submissions for homeless jobs. And people go, why is this guy said he gets this nasty foot? Until they realize that it actually does belong to that actor. And
You're just dedicated to your role
after a while because just my weirdness that way.
You got to do something to get noticed, though. That they noticed it for sure when you do that. That was her whole point on that kind of stuff. Yeah. And that ended up a small niche where maybe I've got 10 or 15 films I can think of maybe where that's all they wanted to use was that toe. So you'd see the beginning of a film or somewhere in the middle of the film, you'd see a homeless guy laying there and they go, okay, start the camera on his toe and kind of move up his leg. And then as the car goes by, follow the car. And so that would be the whole shot, just to establish that this is a nasty old homeless area. And then they go on with their movie by following the car. I get paid like $1,500 to come in and do that, just to show that one toe. That's good work.
I need to make $1,500. I need to make a note to the side, Rick. Don't clip my big toenail for a long time.
Lose as many teeth as you can, and never touch this. Clean your ears, because I can't see your ears, so you can clean your ears. But let the hair grow out. You'll be fine, bro. You'll be just
right on, man. Right on. That is crazy. So did you grow up as a fan of the horror? We're mainly a horror podcast. Did you grow up as a fan of the horror franchise? I mean, the horror genre, rather? And if so, what got you into it?
I have to say that I probably the first film I saw as a kid would have been horror, and that was Planet of the Apes.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to consider that horror. The reason I considered it horror
adjacent.
Yeah, horror adjacent. But it caused nightmares my whole life. From my nightmares when I was a kid, almost every night was the fact that the city is overrun by these apes and you got to be careful. So I was terrified of those. So I think as far as horror goes, that would really put a bone in me for how serious of a feeling you can get of I was being scared inside, that it's affecting you. And that can come from a really well done horror film. And so that was my first one. After that, I've been drawn to them somewhat as far as watching them, and nothing really huge and big. I just don't have a lot of time for films at this time. But I can't really set aside a horror film that other than Saw. I guess all of Saw I can say can stand by itself. But horror to me, it could be just an everyday plain old Jane film, and as long as it gave me a scare and a jump, I'm good with it. Yeah. And saying, oh, well, I only like this type of horror or only like that type of horror, I don't really have any delineations in that. I just know that horror has been scaring me since I was that little kid in Planet of the Apes. And a few of my friends, Deborah Lamb and a couple other horror actresses, they get me watching some horror, but nothing huge and special at the moment.
I thought I heard a cat.
I did too.
I wasn't sure it was yours. I looked over there and Rex is sleeping.
Not any cars either. And I love that you mentioned Planet of the Apes first, because I'm a huge Rod Serling fan. So
yeah. And see, right there, you just led into it again. It's almost like branches. I worked with David Lynch, so I look at things a little bit different. And those branches that come off of there, look what Sterling did after that. And look at the horror that he brought into everybody's life, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that, maybe a Planet of the Apes is where everybody should get a good start with their horror.
Yeah, we just did a special in the first season of Twilight Zone. I'm just now watching those for the first time in my life. Ryan is a freaking library, as his name suggests, of the Twilight Zone franchise. So I'm just now getting into those, and I'm really digging them. What was my next question here? I seen that on iTunes. I caught your cover of the Creep from Radiohead. Did you do a lot of music, or was that like a one-shot deal? What was the deal about that?
Well, that was mostly put together for a music video that I was doing, and to get the rights for it, I had to do that song and publish it on something. But I definitely don't have a singing voice.
I thought it was good. I thought it worked. I thought it was pretty good, man.
I've got a video where the lady I mentioned earlier, Becca, my girlfriend, she ended up becoming my wife, and she passed away of cancer back in 2010. But while she was struggling with her cancer, we decided to do a music video that kind of explained how her and I met and what happened in her life. And the music I used for that was Creep. And then I needed to be able to put it in the music video. That's why I had to publish it in on iTunes and whatnot. I don't even think that's the version that made it to the music video, but the point of that song is the music video, not the actual singing. So I'll have to send you a link to that. Maybe your fans might want to see it. It's one of the most
I would like to see
ever done.
Yeah, we definitely do. We're definitely into music a lot. Ryan's been in bands in the past, and I see. I was just trying to do as much research as I could to find out some stuff about you. And I came across that, and I thought it was pretty cool. So we're going to get into a little bit of the new movie that you did on Shudder right now. Destroy all. I keep wanting to call it Destroy All Humans. That's like
that was a video game.
That's a video game. I know. But it keeps messing me up. Destroy All Neighbors. I'm going to play the trailer for that. So I got the trailer queued up. So let's see if this works out right.
It's mainly me these days. I just want to finish my album.
You have been trying to finish this album for 3 years.
1, 2, What is this? It's a progressive form of prog. I've been calling it prog squared.
The only way I listen to your music is if you tied me up at gunpoint and you forced me to.
And don't play it here again or you're fired.
What's going on?
I think we have a new neighbor.
What is up with this guy?
I think we're living next to some kind of maniac.
I am now living your head rent-free.
Vlad's just driving me crazy. Oh,
You're headed into chaos.
what?
Blood will be spilt.
You gotta stand on your own 2 feet and say, "Get out of my kitchen, cause I'm cooking!"
William, use your demons. Don't let them use you.
So you've killed somebody. Relax. Just need to know how to get rid of a body.
Hello, Willie.
I'm not a mass murderer. I'm a mass manslaughterer.
It's time to make a hit record.
I'm alive.
Shut up!
You didn't hear that, did you?
You yelling shut up at nobody? Yeah, I heard it was very loud.
That is not what rock and roll is all about.
You're a loser and you're gonna die a loser.
Now that was rock and roll.
Stop. Kill people and don't murder anyone else.
All right, yes, that's the trailer for Destroy All Neighbors. If you guys haven't seen that, it's on Shudder. If you have AMC Plus, Shudder is included with that. You can watch it like that. I'm sure there's some way to purchase it somewhere, but I recommend that each and every one of you do so because it is freaking amazing.
Isn't it good? I mean, it brings back practical effects. Everything you saw there, we basically did it right there on stage, and we go into some pretty heavy stuff with that. Yeah, especially towards the end, it was done really, really well, and that was one thing that the filmmakers wanted was they didn't want to shortcut anything, but that didn't mean they needed more money. They just needed to use the right people, and we had the very best, you know, as far as makeup effects and whatnot. The guy's name is, I'm listing it right now, but he's big in horror. He does a ton of horror makeup effects, and he did everything in this film here.
Bill Wolf says, was that Lieutenant Dangle from Reno 911?
Yeah,
and it was,
yes,
right?
It was Thomas Lennon, who I've actually been a fan of since he was making student films at NYU in the 90s.
Nice. But yes, that's who that was. And the movie it's great. So speaking of the makeup, which I think was one of the more impressive things about the film, how long did it take you guys to get into makeup? Like for your...
Alex was about 2.5 hours. I was about 2 hours myself.
Yeah.
And that was consistent throughout. It just took that long because they were very professional as far as months beforehand to come and make casts of our face and make sure everything fit good, and don't waste a lot of time by trying to reuse prosthetics, but just make a whole bunch of different heads that you can plaster on it. So they had everything assembly line down. So, you know, the very first day for me, it might have took an hour or 2 hours and 15 minutes, and they got that down to 2 hours, you know, so they were very effective from the beginning to getting it on us because it's very hot. And at that time it was 112 in Los Angeles. We were having a heat thing, and we were shooting in a place without an air conditioner. So it was pretty tough being under those conditions, especially for Alex, because he had such a full encasing thing around his head, where mine was just the side of my face.
Yeah, and with Alex, like you don't, he's unrecognizable in the film, and it was really, really awesome. He's Vlad, the main I don't know, not the main character, I guess the main character, the second main character, and he's totally unrecognizable. And if those of you that don't recognize the name Alex Winter, he's from The Lost Boys. He's from
Bill S. Preston, Esquire.
That's the one from Bill and Ted, and it's just hilarious. And I love that he actually played a character without the makeup in the film as well when he was the lawyer.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about that. That made me laugh so hard.
It's really cool that he went on to have a big career in like production after everything. Him and Keanu went totally different paths, and they both had success. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and Alex went with some things he's got out on YouTube right now, or about YouTube. It's called the YouTube Effect. And he just released that, and it's going to film festival and it's doing real well. I guess you can still see it by just looking it up. I think there's ways to see it even right now. But he delves into these really cool documentary things. He also did one on child actors, which I'm not really into watching about child actors. But when I watched this one, the way he did it is because he was a child actor himself. He knew these people in a very intimate way, so they were able to open up to him like you were sitting in their kitchen talking or something like that. And it was amazing, a documentary he did on these children. And he runs that way. He's running around looking at things that need to be brought up and people need to hear about and see. So, I really commend Alex for where he's taken his career.
Right on. All right. So in the film, the Willie, the main character, accidentally kills Vlad and then accidentally kills you and accidentally kills some other guy. He's accidentally killing everybody. He doesn't kill anybody on purpose. But through the whole film, you guys come back to life like zombies or whatever and are doing, just chaos and nonsense through the film. But my question to you was, were you guys really like in the movie doing this stuff, or was this all in Willie's head?
It's a good question.
Or do you even know? Is that left up to interpretation?
I think that they really tried to push that point home right at the end when they showed our reflections in the mirror looking back at him. That's the time the writer wanted everybody to realize that this was just all in his head. These are his own demons that he's been fighting.
Right, and that's kind of what I got, because like when he was, the comedian that was working, I forget his name, I probably couldn't pronounce it anyway, that was working at that plant, and he's arguing with Vlad. He's like, "Did you hear that?" It's like, "Yeah, you yelling at nobody? Yeah, I heard that." So that's why I was pretty sure that that's what they were going for. But yeah, it's just a wild ride, man. It's really, really, really awesome.
Yeah, and the lead character, Jonah Ray.
Yes.
Kumal is the guy you're speaking of. They used to be roommates back when neither of them were anything. Even Kumal hadn't done Silicon Valley or any of the other shows that he'd been on.
Isn't he on the show that my kid watches, Community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He didn't have any of that. He just living with this guy. But that's why he ended up being on this film, is because, he got so big he had to move away from Jonah. But Jonah said, no, you're my roommate. You got to come back and do this film. So that whole thing you see is all ad-lib. These two were great improv artists. And so they made that whole scene up on the fly. And it's one of the funniest scenes in the whole film.
Yeah, it is. You
ever watch Silicon Valley, Rick?
Mm-mm.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
comedy is, but yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
HBO show. HBO show.
Yeah, I seen previews for it. I never actually sat down and watched it myself. So what else we got here? How long did it take to shoot the film?
I think it was like 26 days, something like that. And it was mostly mostly the three, Jonah and Alex and Kieran Diol, the comedian who was the wife of Willie.
Yeah, Willie's. Yeah.
It seemed to take up a lot of the days for some reason. I guess it was just a whole bunch of them. But when it came time for us, other roles, we did it really fast. I think I was there maybe only 7 days out of the whole thing. I would come to set and we would just do it one time because I understood what they wanted. Mm-hmm. I understood what the feel of this film was. It's not scary. It's not jump scare.
No.
It's comedy. So I had to bring the character be a right kind of in between. And I nailed it every time to the point that we only got to shoot it one time. So my amount of work that I actually got to do was very limited because everything was just done first take, that's good. Let's move on, you know. So and the heat probably helped on that too.
Yeah, you had some really epic lines in your conversations with Willie, and the croissant deals, and then the time is an illusion. Good stuff. Good stuff. And in the Swiss Fist movie that we were talking about earlier, little short film, you had like a Mr. Miyagi thing going on, and in this film, you got to work with the Karate Kid's mom.
Yes, I did. And oh man, you want to hear a blow it story? Oh,
Yeah.
We were at the table read,
Mm-hmm.
and she's a cute woman, you know, and I'm kind of like her same age and everything, and I who cares? But anyway, we're there at the table read, and we finish, and I'm kind of nervous. I'm like, I got all these stars around me and stuff, and so I'm trying to get to my car, and she's walking out kind of with me, and she stops and turns around, and the same time we start speaking, and she goes, "Would you like to go to lunch?" At the same time, I'm going, I have got to get out of here right now. And so I ended up losing an opportunity to go to lunch with her because I bailed. I didn't have to get out of there. I was just nervous. And had I stayed around, I could have had lunch with her. That would have been really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some big heavy hitters in the film, but you really held your own in it, and definitely is definitely a highlight in the film. So you definitely did what you were supposed to do.
More.
What's
I'd
that?
like the audience to embrace my character more. The reason I say that is I did Twin Peaks, and huge fan base all over the world. You know, people when you say my name, they know that I was the woodsman.
Yeah.
And I look at this film, and I think it's a lot like Little House of Horrors and Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's going to be a cult classic. And so it seems like people should really be embracing my character. There should be people making cardboard signs of my face that they might wear at Halloween or go to a concert, or I don't know what. But use my character like their own little personal action figure because they love the show so much.
Have you done any conventions yet for this?
Not for this. I do a lot for Twin Peaks. This one,
People are going to start wanting you to do bring 8x10s for this and stuff. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they really are. And I want to get on the main circuit. I've got a couple agents that I'm kind of choosing between right now. I want to get on the circuit to where I'm hitting all of these places because I have nothing but time. I'm a full-time actor. That's all I do. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean I'm Mr. Rich Guy. I mean, I'm completely broke like most anybody else. But when my next job comes up, I'll have some money. But in the meantime, go to Comic-Cons and get people pay $60 for my autograph.
Yeah, they will too. Yeah. I was just about to say, Bill. Bill says, let me see where did it go? Damn it! See, I'm screwing this up. He says, "Come to Morgan Crypt Horror Fest. That's in your backyard." So you're gonna, who's the people that run that, Bill? See if he responds to me. Maybe you can reach out to them on Facebook. I know they're on Facebook.
That's out. Yeah, Southwest.
Yeah, it's right where he's at. He's in New Mexico.
Yeah.
The Death Curse Society guys are going to be there, and they just started last year was their first one, and the Death Curse Society is a podcast we follow. Pretty much the reason we got into doing this, and I
am going to that one that you're speaking of.
I'm sorry.
I am going to go to that.
Oh, you're going to Morgan Crypt Fest?
Yes, I believe that was that's right here in Albuquerque.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Jeff and Bethany Seaton is their name.
Yeah,
they're the people running it. But I heard it's they did their first one last year. There's only the second one coming up, and the Death Curse Society guys, they fly all over the country going to these things, and they said that it was top notch. I mean, they really nailed it. They really know what they're doing. And they had a real good turnout. And you should do really well there. He says it's in September, Bill does. And Bill will see you there because he lives there.
Yeah. I would definitely like to get on the circuit to go around and do them. When you have time, you can be there. You see it like with Ray Wise and people like that. They're at all the Comic-Cons. They're just on their free time. And it's a great way to spend your time because most cases, you get your flight and your hotel paid for. You have per diem under most cases too, and a guarantee. So it's a nice money-making experience and a vacation away from everything at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's a Comic-Con or it's a festival or it's fun stuff.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. And then like a lot of them, they'll screen movies, and like we haven't been to too many of them because we're in Cleveland where we really don't have any. We have one that's coming up that we're actually booked at. We're gonna be able to do that. That's oh God, what is the name of that? Ohio Terracon. I'm bad with these names. I gotta have stuff written down because I forget my own name. That's why it's on the screen there.
We finally have one locally, and we can't even be fans at it. We have our own table.
No, that's awesome though. It's gonna help grow the podcast, and
Sure.
yeah. So that's really cool. And but we've been to a couple where we have to travel for, and I mean, obviously we can't get out to New Mexico unfortunately because that's not on the cards this year. But we'd like to get out that way. Hey, what's up, Zig? Zig's in the house. He says, "LOL, that was close, bro." If I'm correct, Crank is in love with Twin Peaks, and you are Crank from Death Cure Society. When I messaged him to tell him you were going to be on the show, I didn't say the guy from Destroy All Neighbors. I said, "Hey, this guy's going to be on our show. He did Twin Peaks."
Oh, I could tell this guy stories he would absolutely love about Twin Peaks, and
he's going to be. They're going to be at the Morgan Crypt Fest as well. You'll be able to meet those guys. They're really good guys, and like I said, they're the reason we're doing this stuff. So
right, and if I'm the library,
trying to be like them,
and if I'm the library, Crank's the encyclopedia,
especially of Twin Peaks for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I would really like to meet the guy. There's a guy, Josh Eisenstadt, I believe his name is, and he's like a walking dictionary of everything Twin Peaks, But there's a lot of guys out there that are like that. That show really has an effect on people.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I'm going to get to it soon. After I finish up the Twilight Zone, I might start that next.
You don't need to watch it.
It's not good.
Bro. I like the hype. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great, but I don't think it's your cup of tea. I don't think it's anybody's cup of tea right now. I think somehow 28 years ago, they grabbed a fan base. That fan base never went away, and it made it a huge popular thing right now. Why? I don't know. Yeah, if you missed it, don't get a chance to catch it, that's all right. You'll be all right.
That's awesome.
I'm a fan of it myself, but I prefer some of Lynch's films more. But I like Twin Peaks a lot though too. Although I'm a Blue Velvet man. I think that's a film that he made. So.
Well, interestingly, almost all of his films are intertwined.
Yes,
exist
like the same universe. Yeah.
And you'll see like Woodsman in the Mulholland Drive. You see a Woodsman.
That's a great one too.
There's a few other little hints and nods here and there to the film. Watching him create though is amazing because most people think he creates over a period of time and then comes and puts it on the set and we all do it. He pretty much creates at the moment, on the moment, and we do whatever just came up into his mind. We never had a script. Nobody really ever had a script. And that's just the way he operates. Many of the things that are really good on Twin Peaks: The Return are things that he just decided to do, and he did them, and they worked, and nobody understood at the time. Like one of the scenes where everybody goes outside and smokes a cigarette, like 8 people standing on a staircase smoking a cigarette all the way through. They don't speed up the film. They let the whole cigarette burn down. Not a single one says anything to each other, and they just kind of glance at each other, and they go right back in the building again. What was that all about? That was just Lynch was sitting there and just thought, hey, you know what? Come on, let's go do this. And he gets up and goes, does it. So it's an amazing world to exist in watching him create.
Yeah.
Right on. Ryan, did you have any questions for Christian that we haven't asked?
He kind of blew my mind, like even early on with the whole NASA bit. I had no idea about that. That's even that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff, as Rick will tell you, that's even more interesting to me than the acting.
I tell you, as an engineer, Well, the neatest things for me was my dad did radiography too. I don't know how we ended up in the same business, but he was like the pioneer of using cobalt and uridium-192 as an actual source of radiation. And he'd pick it up with the fishing pole and drop it in a Dixie cup and take an X-ray of something and pull it back out of the Dixie cup. Well, we really still use the same procedure today, except it's all done with chains and cranks.
Yeah,
a lot of
a
radiation.
little bit safer now.
Yeah. Not many people want to do it because of how dangerous it is.
Yes.
So I became so good that they would call me all over the United States to come in and do simple little projects. And I had such a terrible ego that I'd shut down some of the biggest corporations who go, we're losing $300,000 a day and you're wearing pants like that. Oh, you don't like my pants? You know what? I'll be back next week. No, sir. Come on. I'll be back next week. You lose your $300,000 a day. And I'd get back to my office and they go, oh, no, you didn't blow up on another client, did you? Yeah, well, they were saying this. But that was because I was just so good at what I did. And one of the very few people that there was a major amount of ego going on. I don't have that no more, but whew.
Right on.
You also mentioned we have something in common. I have a radio background myself. How long did you do that for?
Oh, I guess about 5 years, being on the air. I would do the morning show at that country station, and then at nighttime I'd go to the other country station and do their midnight to 6 show. And that was
1 to 5 was my slot.
1 a.m., Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was in Ohio?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool. Why are you not still doing that, or?
No, that's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, there's a guy here in Albuquerque, AV. He's on 103, The Hustle, but he's an older guy who decided he wanted to get back into radio, just like you used to do it. And he found that radio stations are pretty easy to get into nowadays, but they expect you to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of going and sell your own gigs. It's like, yeah, you can have the 3 to 5 hour, but you got to sell all the advertising in that period. It's like, I'm not an advertising person, but if you could do that kind of stuff, radio's still wide open.
It is.
If anybody's actually listening.
Yeah, I mean, I think podcasts are kind of taking over from radio. That's because I've always done talk radio to listen to in the car and whatever. Better than, I mean, I like music, but I'd rather listen to talk radio. And now it just podcast after podcast after podcast because it's just better.
Yeah, it is. You can be more streamlined into what you want to listen to, And you guys kind of hooked me on thinking about horror when you asked me the question, what was my favorite horror and stuff. I think I really want to go and take a look by listening at podcasts, what other people have liked. And maybe I should start forming more of an opinion about that genre because I sure play in it a lot. There's a lot of that I do. So.
Well, see, we like all different forms of horror. We're not just like one thing. I mean, I like comedy horror. I like psychological horror. We kind of into all of it, really. I mean, like classic stuff, from way back in the day, like black and white stuff, Universal Monsters, all the way, just everything.
Legendary stuff right there.
Yeah, you're going to love this. It's all those legendary things you saw, the Universal Monsters. I ended up working at Universal Studios in the Western Stunt Show on the lower lot for 7 years. And I would get like a 2-hour break twice a day. So 4 hours, I would just wander around the lot. I've wandered where Lon Chaney has walked. I've stood in the same place where John Wayne was doing stuff. Matter of fact, that's where I did my Wild West Stunt Show, was right there where John Wayne was doing it. And to walk around and see like the fountain, the little round fountain you see in all of the old classic horror movies, just to sit there and smoke a cigarette on that fountain. Or wander into the buildings and see props from them old films still sitting up against the corners, creatures and animal heads that they used to chase people. An amazing experience because it was all the behind the scenes of all of that classic Universal stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Right on. All right, man. So we're getting close to an hour. We usually run this thing for about an hour, and we're gonna start wrapping this up. But to be honest, man, like looking at you and your look, I hate to have preconceived notions, but I was thinking that it would be hard for you to hit the link to get on this live and blah, blah, blah. You know, I ain't gonna lie. But lo and behold, you're a freaking rocket scientist. You know, you got multiple camera angles you're working and shit. We don't even know how to do that shit. We've been working on this stuff for 6-7 months now.
Don't let them fool you, Rick. It's sticky hitting the buttons.
Yeah, whatever it is, man. So I ask, do you look at the way you do people prejudge you and assume things about you, assume that you're maybe homeless or anything like that? Do you run into that?
Yeah. It used to upset me at the beginning of my career until I started realizing that if I'm going to be the best homeless, excuse me, if I'm going to be the best homeless portrayer, I need to look realistic. So if I'm bothering these people, obviously I am realistic. So I had to mellow a bit from getting upset, but it's still tough, you know. I remember times sitting in a restaurant with my lady. The waiter would come by and go, get her order, and then go, did you want to get him something too? You know, or we get on the bus and people are plugging their nose because they see me get on the bus, and she'd always turn around and give me a big old kiss on the lips, you know, just to freak people out. I'm dedicated to my look, and I think that that's the biggest problem, I should say, I have in my life is I can't go clean up because I want to go on some special date with some woman or whatnot. I cut all this off, and I tell you, I've got a silver fox handsome face that would be great for, you know, Sean Connery type stuff. I cut all of that off one time, and the casting directors all got a hold of my agents and said, why did Christian cut that? We don't want him like that. Put him back the way he was, which is this way. This is what Hollywood wants, is this mess. But see, I don't trim this. I don't trim this. This is natural. These just started growing one day, you know? So it's looking like crap on purpose, and then just have to deal with how society feels about me for looking like that.
Right on, right on. Well, again, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on. It was just awesome talking to you, man. Like it just didn't go anywhere near the way I thought it would go. I don't know. I found out a lot of cool stuff that I wasn't expecting, that the whole rocket scientist bit. Yeah, it was definitely great talking to you. And yeah, people are saying great show in the comments, and yeah, they all enjoyed hearing you talk too. And you guys got to see that movie if you haven't seen it. Destroy All Neighbors on Shudder. Check it out. And I'm going to get you out of here, Christian, but thanks again for coming on, brother.
Yeah.
Right on, my friend. Anybody can follow me at Acting Homeless at Instagram.
Okay, yeah. So if you guys go to Instagram and follow Christian, check out what he's doing. And he is definitely the highlight of the film for Destroy All Neighbors. And I promise, I give you my word that you will like this movie or double your money back.
Yeah. Yes, you will like this movie.
No, you will. You will. And I hope to see you out at a con soon. I can't make it to New Mexico, but the Death Curse Society guys will be out there. Bill Wolf, who was on the show, will be out there, and they'll meet you out there. And we'll talk later. And hopefully I can get to somewhere where you're at and meet you in person. But it's been a pleasure, brother.
You too, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Have a great day. Bye. Well.
All right.
That was pretty freaking awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. He was a delight.
Yeah, man. And yeah, so we hadn't seen a lot of the films he was in, and to know his roles, and I'm worried that I don't have enough questions, and that I'm not going to be able to do a good enough job with the interview. But he had so many cool things to talk about that it just kind of carried it, and it really worked out, and I really, really had a good time with it.
He was almost like an alternate reality Big Schwag. Like he was into a lot of shit that we like, but different.
And that's what I was hoping. That's what I was hoping, because Big Schwag, when he was on the show, it was like it just kind of we just went off on tangents and just having a good conversation, and we didn't have to know really a ton about him to make it work. And I was hoping like maybe we'll get another thing like that. Or I was thinking either best case scenario we'd have a thing like that, or worst case scenario we'd have the Microwave Massacre guy.
Oh, Mucker.
Who's a great guy. Like, again, I thank him for taking the time to come on, but it was just tough to get through an interview with the guy, you know?
I know we've only been doing this for a year, and we could do this for many more. I don't think we're ever going to have another interview like that one.
I hope not. Like this one, yes. That one, maybe not.
What was his name? Craig Muckler?
Craig Muckler, yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, James Ingram from J3 Costumes popped in. He says, "Can't wait to watch this movie. It's on Shudder, and it is definitely. I've seen it 4 or 5 times, and I love it, and I will see it many more times. It's going to be in my regular watch rotation." Bill Wolf says, "That was cool. The rocket scientist shit blew my mind. No doubt, man. And like I said, just seeing Karen says, yeah, he wasn't boring at all. So everybody had a good time with him. Yeah,
it was awesome.
And,
you know, like with Big Schwag, he had the pro wrestling background, which we're into, and obviously Christian has, you know, that whole NASA and like radio background, which is like shit I'm into.
Yeah, fucked up music a little bit. I mean,
yeah, that too.
Kind of did a little bit of everything, you know.
Yeah, kind of like a Renaissance man.
Yeah, he's gonna clean up at these cons, man, because one is he's got a great personality, and that's gonna go a long way. And then once people see this movie, I'm telling you, they're gonna want to meet the people that are in this movie. You know, and like he said, it's gonna be a cult classic. I think it's gonna go down that way, and it's really, really, really good. It's like if I'm rating the horror movies I've seen this year so far, it's definitely my favorite. And I'm not just saying that because he's still in the green room and can hear me.
Oh, I didn't even know he was.
100% it is.
Only Rick can see that part.
Yeah, but no, 100%. It's definitely my favorite. That's my favorite. My second favorite would be the Lisa Frankenstein, but it's still early in the year, so who knows when we'll get some stuff to top it. But I doubt it. It really.
Speaking of horror movies we saw this year, we saw one last week together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Our yeah. Oh no, it's just, you know, our friend of the show, JP Cross, joined us for that too.
Yeah. We went and seen the Millenheads movie. We had fun. It was definitely fun.
The theater experience was fantastic.
Yeah, it was cool to see a local guy sell out a couple theaters, and he's on his way to selling out a couple more. So that's good. And it was definitely a good time. And if you guys haven't seen it, you're gonna check it out. If you're local, they're gonna be playing in Menor again for the next screening of it, and then eventually it'll be on Tubi where his other films are. And so Charles says, "Great show, guys. Thanks for the plug. Kind of swapped with tonight's show." Hey, no problem, man. We're gonna get out of here in a second, and I'm gonna probably jump over and watch a little bit of that if I can tonight. I might go to see, it starts at 8:55. Imaginary comes out tonight. Did you see the previews for that?
No.
It's kind of like Megan with a bear. It's kind of what it reminded me of. but the bear is, I don't think the bear is like robotic. I think it's just imaginary and does crazy shit. But so I'm gonna definitely go see that sometime this weekend. I might go tonight, but then to stay up for it's a 2-hour movie. 11 o'clock's kind of late for an old man like me, so who knows?
It was a little earlier. I'd meet you out there, but
yeah. We might see what's going on Sunday, maybe, and see if you're around, and you might want to check it out or something. You know,
I think I can do Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see what's up.
I'm fucking working on Saturday because I leave for vacation next Friday.
Bill, it's from Blumhouse, Colonel's favorite peeps. Hey man, it's all we got right now, and that's why I say to support guys like Destroy All Neighbors on Shudder and all the people that are making shit on Shudder. My friend Eddie Langle, support his movies because we need new people doing new shit, and we need more and more shit, or else we're gonna get stuck with Blumhouse. No problem, Karen. No problem. I'm gonna be over there in a minute to see Charles' show. She's checking out to go watch The Dive, and I recommend that all of you guys do that. We're wrapping this up anyway. 58:36. So it's been about an hour, and good show. I think we did a good job. We didn't suck.
No,
and that's our goal, to not be the worst, and I think we've achieved that. So it worked out pretty good. All right, man. So I'm going to get off of here. Did you have anything you wanted to add before I get out of here, Ryan?
Yay, Mike Evans staying in Tampa. Yay. That's the biggest thing for me this week, honestly.
Right on.
So, because we were kind of wrestling over that one.
Yeah.
So, but now with
once they didn't tag him, I thought there was a chance he could go elsewhere.
Well,
I thought he'd hear an offer or two and maybe move on, but
they tagged Winfield, so the two biggies they kept. So that's all that matters.
Right on.
Yay! They're gonna win that crappy division again because everybody else sucks.
You know what though? I'd rather be in your shoes than ours, man. We got a murderer's row in our division, you know. You know, you could
You think Russell Wilson might go to Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah, he seems like a perfect fit for them.
I agree.
In attitude and everything. Yeah, he's a Pittsburgh guy, and yes, I think he could go there.
Obviously, he's not what he used to be, but he's way better than what they got.
That's absolutely true. And they're winning with what they got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I'm hearing Bill Wolf says, fuck that guy. I'm assuming he's talking about Russell. Atlanta for Wilson, Zig says.
Atlanta for yeah.
I could see it happening. I could definitely see it happening, but rumor has it that they're after the guy whose name I can never remember from Minnesota.
Oh, Cousins?
Cousins. I can never remember his name.
Why would he leave Minnesota, though?
His wife's from Atlanta. They're going to pay him more money down there probably. He's really good at getting paid.
The thing is, those guys in Atlanta need to admit that they fucked up on Ritter and were wrong, but are they willing to do that yet?
Yes, I think so. Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean, he was awful.
He was, but that was only his first year starting.
Yeah, I mean, when you're that bad,
I agree.
I mean, you remember Carolina when they drafted that dude out of Notre Dame and they realized that he was garbage. I mean, they drafted Cam Newton next year. You know?
Oh God,
I can't remember his name.
I know who you're talking about. He had that really bad, like, fake tan and the spiky blonde hair.
Yeah,
he looked like a Jersey Shore douchebag.
Oh yeah, he sucked. He was garbage. And I heard rumors that the Browns might be interested in trading for Fields.
Why?
Why not?
You're already paying a quarterback like $40 million a year, guaranteed.
I know, but this guy's on his rookie deal. You bring him in.
Yeah, you'll have what, 2 years of him?
2 if you pick up his 5th-year option, but that's iffy because the 5th-year option is like $28 million. You know, you only do that if he comes in and he plays this year and lights it up, and you're like, hey, that's the guy. That's the only way you would do it.
All I have to say, though, honestly, as far as that goes, though, the Bears hold all the cards because they already got that first pick. So with what
I
they
think,
want to Fields,
Zig says you want to spend all future picks to get Fields. See, the thing is they know that the Bears have to trade him. So he's gonna go for a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
It depends.
No, I'm certain of it. They will not get more than a 2nd round pick for him.
The second
would have happened already.
2nd round pick's still nice.
Yeah, it's nice, but I mean,
it's nice for a guy you know you're not keeping.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I think it's going to be more like a 3rd rounder.
Because they have and then the 9th pick too.
They have two high picks, two picks.
They have
in the
number
top
1.
10.
They have number 1, and I think it's number 9.
Yeah, and a lot of people in Cleveland don't think that like this is the craziest thing ever. But Dallas did it a couple of years ago. Last year they signed Trey Lance.
Yeah,
they have Dak Prescott on their fucking roster making $50 million a year.
Well, Trey Lance had never had a chance to start.
Right, so it's even more of a gamble for them because they don't, they have no idea what they're getting. And he did start a few games.
Who did?
Trey Lance.
No, he didn't.
Pretty sure he did in San Francisco, and I'm pretty sure they got rid of him.
I'm talking about Dallas.
Oh, no. Yeah, I know that.
When they traded strictly for a backup project role.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. You might want to do with Justin Fields.
It wouldn't be strictly for that because he's already better than Deshaun Watson at a couple different things.
Yeah, but he's not as good at a lot of other things too. I mean, if you get Watson the way he looked 3 or 4 years ago, then it's all good. It doesn't matter how many draft picks, how many millions. None of that matters. But if you don't, and then you have this guy in the hole that might be decent and might be good. I mean, Fields went out there and looked like an MVP in some games, and he's went out there and hit the broadside of a barn.
He had like almost 200 yards rushing in that one Green Bay game.
Did he have like 1,300 yards a couple years ago?
He broke the record. Yeah, Lamar's record.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But that's all he had.
Yeah.
The Bears have never had a 4,000-yard quarterback.
No, because they've always been a running team, defense team.
We've only had 2.
Baker did it, right?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, close a couple times. He just hit 4,000 this year.
Yeah,
and he needed an extra game to do it.
Yeah. Who did it in Cleveland?
During his MVP year, Brian Sipe and Bernie Kosar did.
Bernie got 4,000.
Yeah, Bernie got 4,000.
I never knew that.
Yeah, so there was the only 2 seasons. That's it.
The Bucks have had 2 5,000-yard quarterbacks.
Right. Who was the other one?
James Winston.
Oh, he did that in Tampa?
Yeah.
I thought he did that in New Orleans for some reason.
Never started there. He's only started a game or 2 there.
No, okay. Yeah. No, I know he had the 5,000 and 30 for 30.
Yeah. That's like
the wrong 30 for 30, but 30 for 30.
That's like the craziest QB season of all time.
Bill,
5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, but 30 picks.
Bill says he'd take Fields better than Wilson. he might be, man. I watched. I'm a Buckeye fan, dude. The guy was good here, but he also had all-world wide receivers all over the place, and he had NFL offensive line. So that helps you.
Yeah, DJ Moore really helped him this year too.
Yeah,
that was a good. But then that turned into the fucking first pick.
Yeah.
So that was a bad trade in retrospect for Carolina. Oh my God, that team's going to be bad for a long time. Which for me is good. So
Zig says that the Bears should keep Fields and take Harrison. One time in NFL history, there's been a wide receiver taking number 1.
They'll trade down.
Yeah, if you could trade down and make that move, and
yes. That's absolutely what they would. They're never ever just going to take him with the first pick.
Right,
never.
I know. But trading down is dangerous because you trade too far down, somebody takes him ahead of you. Because you'd have to trade. If you could trade down to 4, then you're guaranteed to get Harrison.
Yeah. Now, I know Keyshawn Johnson was
He's the only one.
Are you sure Irving Fryer didn't go first his year?
Oh my God, I hope not.
Google real quick. I'm not on a computer.
I know Keyshawn's definitely number 1. It was definitely number 1.
Sworn Irving Fryer went like super high, maybe even won that one crazy year where there was like nobody.
It's insane if he was 61 years old. That sound like the right Irving Fryer?
Yeah.
All right. If he was oh my God, you're right. Yeah. 1984, round 1, pick 1. Patriots did it.
That's why they call me the library, baby. Yes.
Yeah, him and Keyshawn, I guess, but at least Keyshawn was somewhat worth it.
Irving Fryer was pretty good.
Was he number 1 overall pick good?
It depends on the year. There were certain draft years where, man.
And to be honest, I don't know if Keyshawn Johnson was number 1 overall pick good, but he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was.
2 second-team All-Pros.
Yeah.
For Irving Fryer, 5 Pro Bowls, 50th anniversary team with the Patriots. So he had a pretty decent career with the Patriots. 6 years, 8 years. Is that 8 years? That's 8 years. He got 8 years. If you get 8 years out of a player, you did something right.
They did, and then he played. Did he go to Miami after that?
I remember him with Miami. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was only there briefly though. He's only there for 2 years, but I remember him there being longer than that.
Yeah.
But they were Pro Bowl years, 3 years.
Yeah,
93, 94, 95, and he was
Marino throwing him. Yeah, Dan Marino was throwing him the ball.
Dan Marino was still around that late?
92, 93. Oh, yeah. He wasn't drafted till like 80, 82, 83.
84. 84 was his rookie year.
I think it was 82, man, because they went to the Super Bowl in 83. 84 was the year he broke all those passing records.
All right. He came out in the same draft as Elway.
Yeah, I want to say Marino played till 97, 98. Something like that.
Yeah, I know Kosar went there at the end of his career and backed him up.
Yeah, after he did the Dallas thing and got the Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
He got to kneel in the Super Bowl.
And Bill says that was 84.
84.
I'm thinking 84 too. Let's see. We'll go back to the computer here. 17 years he played.
Yeah.
So regardless, he was definitely there at that point of the game.
Oh, yeah.
83 draft,
83
84
draft.
Super Bowl.
84 Super Bowl, and that's all the passing records that got broken later by Brady and then Manning.
Yeah, a much easier time, though, for those guys.
Oh, God, yeah. When Dan Marino broke that record, guys were allowed to, like, face mask wide receivers at 5 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Definitely.
And who were Marino's two big receivers that year?
Oh, I know this, but I don't remember.
They both had the same first name.
I know it, but I can't remember.
Mark Clayton and Mark
Duper. I knew it. Mark's
brothers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Clayton and Duper. Yep, I definitely knew that.
I'll throw one more Marino-related trivia question out before we go. In his 17-year career, he only had one 1,000-yard running back that whole time. Who was it?
Marino?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Miami running backs. I got nothing.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, wow. I remember him.
Aarim Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah. I remember him. I remember having his rookie card, and everybody thought he was going to be some big deal.
Yep.
So I definitely remember him. I just didn't remember him playing with Marino. But
the only 1,000-yard back ever in Dan Marino's career.
Oh, yeah. Marino got shafted, man. He played on some shitty teams, and he still had them winning. That's why it's arguable that some people say he's the best quarterback ever.
Better than Drew Brees.
Was it?
Better than Drew Brees.
Maybe. I mean, Drew Brees had all those weapons, you know?
Yeah, he did.
You know, he threw for $5,000 a year, though, for like 8 years or some dumb shit.
Yeah, offensive genius head coach and all those weapons.
Mm-hmm. Who did Marino have as a coach? I mean, he had Jimmy Johnson late, but before that, who did Marino have?
Shula, but he wasn't.
Oh, yeah, Shula.
He wasn't like an offensive game plan specialist, you know?
No.
So.
And I mean, he'd been in the league for quite some time, you know?
Jesus Christ, too, and I'm wearing a number 13 jersey. And it's fucking Dan Marino City in my head now.
My mom worked for his cousin, Don Marino.
Don Marino.
I swear to God, it is a true story. He owned a Boomer's Tavern on Biddulph. Oh. He had a big signed Dan Marino jersey in there and everything. Like, yeah, it was a cousin.
That's funny.
I got my first bar fight there. I was about 16, I think. My brother was dating this chick, and he asked me to meet him at the bar.
Yeah.
And I brought her with me because that was my ride.
Yeah.
And he was there with another chick, but he knew that I was with her.
Yeah.
So rather than deal with the drama with her, he threw a punch at me. Next thing you know, we're fighting all over the bar. And then his girl, I ended up hooking up with his girl that I brought with her because she felt bad that my brother punched me. And it was great. It was a beautiful thing.
See all the shit that comes out on this show.
Yeah, I had somebody's tooth in my hand at the end of the fight. My brother was, he's 5 years older than me. It was a good fight. I definitely lost, but it was definitely a good fight. But I had somebody's tooth in my hand, so after things calmed down, I called him and said, "Dude, you missing a tooth?" He said, "No." So I have no idea whose tooth this was.
I want to thank the Tampa Bay Buccaneers again, my team, for re-signing Mike Evans, because without that, we never get to this conversation.
Yeah, right on. All right, man. So we got like 14 minutes of nonsense, and I'm not going to know how to edit out of this because I don't know how to do that.
Leave it.
I know, but I mean for the iTunes,
leave it anyway.
I mean, I got to because I don't know how to edit it out. So if you stuck around this long in the iTunes, you got to hear some nonsense about nonsense. So, any last words, my friend?
Yeah, I'll just talk about Dan Marino. I'm going to go watch Ace Ventura now, and there goes